Hello, I am Tanya Andrews, the Marketing Director for Pennant Publications, LLC. Today we have our author, Stephen Kahofer, and he is the author for Monopoly Games. It's nice to have you here today, sir.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Awesome. So we're going to go on ahead and just jump right into these questions about your book. So the first one is, please tell us the history of your book, where the idea or inspiration came from to write it.
Okay, thank you. Good question. When I was in the corporate world, I was a manager in charge of developing standards or standardization of certain electronic products. These products are used products used worldwide, like anything from a microchip to a light bulb. And these standards are required for all international trade and all government contracts. So what we're talking about is potentially billions and billions of dollars in revenue for a company that had its product meet these standards. So naturally, corporations are interested in trying to negotiate the standards in a way that's favorable to their product. And trying to manage this process, it was like watching these corporations play their games, trying to get a tactical advantage. And I was thinking, gee, all this money, and here I am sitting here trying to control this thing. Somebody should write a book about this. No, I should write a book about this.
I should.
And that's how it started. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what is your favorite part of the book? How can you hold up the book for us so we can see the cover?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, can we see that?
Yep. Yeah.
The games.
Yep. Nice cover.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your favorite part of the book?
I guess it was just drive to write, like human beings are storytellers, going all the way back to the Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey. We always tell stories and we want to talk. We're a tribal animal. When I was in the military, there was a nuclear incident and it was top secret, so I couldn't tell anybody. And it's like you want to go, oh my God, you would not believe what I saw. Do you know what happened? But you can't do that. Yeah. So many years later, I could change a few things and call it fiction and write the story. And it was a great release. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And so you've kind of already talked about the background or experience you have in the topic of the book. So do you have more to say on that?
Well, yeah. The two areas of experience I put together. One was the corporate world, where from the 9-to-5er to the CEO in the penthouse, I spent 35 years in that world and got to see the good, the bad, the ugly, the greedy, and the good. So that was a lot to take in, and I did want to talk about it. In the military, I was in charge of the nuclear arms release codes. In other words, to authenticate the firing of a nuclear weapon, you have to have, communicate the proper codes. And I was in charge of controlling that, which, so I figured out a way, nature kind of helped me, but the two things converged and came out with a pretty good, thrilling story.
Okay, well, thank you for your service. It's appreciated.
Well, thank you. Yes.
So what's your favorite part of the book?
That's hard to say. I wrote the book, but I guess what interested me most or came out to be most surprising was the creation of the characters. Now, I wanted to have strong characters, and I found as I wrote a character, it's like they wanted to write their own story. If you make a person, they want to do their thing too. So like one of my favorite characters was Tina Hall, and this was a woman that was created just for like a page or two to kind of move the story along. But she was kind of interesting and a very strong person, and it's like she stayed there to the end of the chapter. And then she showed up in the next chapter. It's like I couldn't get rid of her. She kept showing up in the book. It was like,
Okay.
wow, this person is really something. So that to me was really a surprise that that was part of the writing process and that these things could happen.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm an author with Pennant Publications as well, and I've done mainly children's books, but I've been working on a novel set in the 1800s for quite some time. And I will
Uh-huh.
agree with you that sometimes the authors do seem to have a life of their own before you even get it on paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can like step aside and let the character you've created be somebody or have a force, yeah, they're going to want to do certain things. And if you write something that doesn't fit them, you're going to realize that, this really doesn't work.
Uh-huh.
And it's not going to work until you can match that person's actions with what you've created as a person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way people are going to be able to connect with your characters, if they're real
With
like
the
that.
book then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, so looking back on the writing of the book, was there anything that stood out to you that caught your attention that you might not have known or have had learned before writing the book?
Yeah, a lot of things. I think writing does that for you because we kind of go through life and, it moves quickly. We don't reflect on it enough. But when you try to take all those emotions and feelings that are going on in these interplays between people, and when you put them into words, you can learn more about yourself and other people. Like uh I've got, it's a thriller, so it's got some thrilling things in it. And well, maybe a little bit me, but I mean, there's adrenaline junkies that really get high on that type of activity. And so I really had to understand what's going on with that type of person. Not just myself, not just looking at it personally, but in general, when somebody is like that, exactly what's going on in their head. And so that you can create that character. Relationships between two people, again, that's about as complicated as you can get.
Yep.
And to be able to put that in words, between a man and a woman, what's going on, what are they feeling, what's behind the actions they take, which may look ridiculous, or to the other person, but there's things, there's reasons for what people do. Yeah.
Okay. So what type of person would this book appeal to?
Um, well, anybody that likes thrillers,
Thrillers.
I,
Okay.
I think, yeah, I mean, that's the general genre. It's got a little military in it. It's got a romance. There's a lot of romance in it. As I was writing, I thought that part of me, my experiences and wanting to tell that and understand it, and understand relationships better. So that got interwoven into the story.
Okay.
Maybe I exposed a bit of myself, but it's there. And it was very, to me, it was informative to be able to put things together and make sense of them.
Okay. All right. So what have you heard about the book so far in reviews and people reading it?
The reviews have been very good, so that's very rewarding. When you put everything into it and you get a good review, that's like, oh, great. Also in front of book clubs, that's also a very rewarding experience to see people ask questions or talk about how it relates to them, or just say, yeah, that's a good story, or that's
Okay.
an exciting story. So it's been a very rewarding experience. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How do you think the book will help others?
I guess, well, I guess, first of all, I think it'll help women understand men.
That should be a bestseller.
Well, if they really want to, then I think I've given a few windows to look into, yeah,
Okay,
about what really goes on in relationships. So
okay,
that's there. Um, just other than that, again, these other things that happen, here's, you're stepping out and looking at the world while you're standing in another person's shoes. So I always find that a good way to get a better sense of what's going on.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then are there any other books that you're working on?
Well, right now I'm torn between two things. One, the sequel, which certainly many things were resolved in the Monopoly games, but not everything was. So we could go back and try to fill in some more blanks. The other thing, which I've got partially written, I've been doing, I write travel articles, so adventure articles, mountain climbing and things like, and other exciting trips I've been on. And to put those together into a nonfiction travel log
Okay,
is another possibility. I haven't decided which way to go yet.
okay.
But
Well,
yeah,
we'll be
right
looking
now
for,
it's right now still promoting Monopoly games. I'm sorry.
okay. All right, that's okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, as always, we would like to thank Debbie and Pennant Publications. She's very encouraging and supporting to all of
Yes.
us. And if you would like to buy Monopoly games, it can be found at www.pennantpublications.com. Would you like to say anything else about your book?
Um, I guess we've pretty well summed it up. I think it's a darn good thriller. It's a
Okay.
lot of fun, and I think it's got some good insights, good mystery, learn about the military and learn about the corporate world, and most of all, hear other people's story.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.